Hey everybody, welcome to Two Hungry Teachers. This is Robbie Scardo.
And I'm James Chance. How you doing?
And we are back. I want to give Jim all props for this because he is fighting to
Big
keep
time.
this channel alive. I don't know what it is. I think he's in love. It's funny. I was in love with the channel to begin with, right? And then Jim was like, it's a lot of editing. I'm like, okay. So then we kill it.
Yeah.
And now
For
Jim's
almost
like,
3 years.
please bring it back. I'm like, I don't understand it, but we're gonna go with it.
You know, and I think a lot of it was to be really honest
let's talk about it.
Because it's been about 3 years, and there was a lot of editing, a lot of stuff that we were doing. We were going around eating. We were trying to find our niche. And I honestly, I really think once I started getting my feet wet as an educator, I started realizing I'm a mentor now. You know, I'm having to talk to other future teachers. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've only been doing this. And then that's when it settled in where I'm like, I've been doing it for 12 years. This is my 12th year. And yours?
Wow. 2021.
So then I started thinking, there's no reason why we can't educate some future teachers to know. Because there's a lot of people that I've worked with that literally regret going to the college for the degree that they got. And then they were like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. So as an educator, you're thinking that's a lot of education, to go through and then realize that's really not what I want to be.
Wait, are you saying the educators regret being educators?
Yeah. Or it wasn't what they could handle.
Oh, I see. So this is kind of their way to like get a sneak peek before they jump in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of like, watch our channel, because we're going to tell it the way it is. I'm not beating around the bush because some TED Talks were like, oh, it's so great. Oh, we do this. And they're wonderful. And they're wonderful. And the TED Talks are nice. They're
inspirational.
They get you chills on the excitement of what the job's like until you see those 30 kids walk into your classroom. And then you're like, what the frick did I just do?
Okay, so then let's start with this. I think the first thing people need to understand is that if you wait to start teaching when you feel, quote unquote, ready, you never truly feel ready. You just kind of have to get thrown into the fire.
And 28 years, you said?
2021.
21. Okay, so do you still feel ready every year?
If those 3 months, when those 3 months pass, and then it comes back around, there's still that anxiety. Do I still have it? But again, people call it like riding a bike, right? But you do get nervous. And again,
because you're going to fall.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That time's going to come where you're going to fall off that bike again.
I equate it sometimes to like being a stand-up comedian. Some nights you kill,
right?
And then the audience changes all the time. And so other nights you struggle, but you don't take it to heart. You learn from it. And I think that for a lot of people who want to get into education, they may not expect how inconsistent the experience is from day to day. Some things are consistent, right? Like the rules and the classroom management and maybe the way you've structured your curriculum. But the kids' response, you can never predict.
No. And every year they're different kids.
Yeah, every period.
Yeah,
what I said in first period, right? And then I try to deliver that again in third, and it's not the same response.
And do you give yourself like, I'll go take a break and I have a cup of coffee and I'll be like, oh my God, that worked. Oh, I can't believe that worked. And it's like fourth period. You're thinking first, second, and third didn't work at all. You know, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, they got it.
Well, you kind of feel bad sometimes for first period because that's your guinea pigs.
It's the worst.
Because every lesson, right, your first run is going to be that first period class. And then by the fourth, fifth period, you've kind of figured it out.
Well, and that's one of those things you expect too, because once you get going, you're thinking, okay, the night before, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to pass out papers, and they're all going to be, they're asleep. Yeah. They're half asleep, they're not there. And then I always tell them when I start my day is I always say, when I have my coffee and I'm ready to go, no one's late first period until I'm ready. Then we're in a zone. So if you come in within 3-4 minutes after the bell rings, I'm good because I'm still doing my coffee and everything else. I'm
still waking up.
Yeah, I'm still going.
What time do you guys start school?
At 8 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, so we switched ours to 8:30.
Oh dang! Every day?
Yeah, used to be 7:45.
Wow.
And I believe there was a government.
Yeah.
California made a
so
law
are you
to
in a
start
rural
later.
area because they were trying to change that for rural areas?
I mean, we're in Hanford, California. So we're now at 8:30. First period used to be 7:45 a.m. So we go 8:30 a.m. to 3:40 p.m.
Okay, so we're 8 o'clock to 3:05.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like a happy medium
Yeah.
between super early and
a 25-minute lunch.
Yes.
And all that stuff. Yeah.
So today we're talking about relationships, right? And so the quote that always stuck with me, I don't remember if it was Harry Wong, which is still one of the best names in education. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, so future teachers or teachers out there, there's a book, I think it's called The First Day of School, and it's by Harry Wong, and it's kind of like a new teacher's guide to, some fundamental practices and things that you can do to get that first year going. And it was pretty helpful. But one of the things, I think he said, they don't care what you know until they know that you care. And so I thought about that for a second.
Speaking from a student's perspective.
Student doesn't care about how well you are versed in your area or if you're an expert or not, right? You don't get immediate kudos for that. What they want to know first is that you care about them, that you value that relationship, and they tend to be more receptive. Now, obviously, that kind of changes when you head towards college, or even some of the higher functioning kids. Like, they don't need you, in a nice way. Yeah. It's like they've got their support systems. A lot of them have pretty strong relationships with their parents or guardians. But the kids that really need you, the kids that struggle maybe at home or don't have those connections elsewhere, they're really looking for the relationship first. They don't admit it. They don't talk about it. They don't say, hey, but they're really looking for that. And that is what they respond to first. So as a new teacher, my advice would be, obviously, you want to know your curriculum. You want to be well-versed in whatever it is you're teaching your subject. However, don't make that the priority over building relationships with kids. Would you agree with that?
No, 100%. You could easily, we've talked about this, that you could easily go into your curriculum, 2 weeks-ish in the beginning of the school.
So why do we wait those 2 weeks?
To kind of bond with those kids.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
So I don't remember who said this, but he was like, I want you to view every student at their desk as an ATM machine. And I was like, what? I said, what do you mean? We get money for their attendance, right? He goes, no, what I meant is if you go to your ATM and you haven't made any deposits, can you make a withdrawal? No, there's nothing in there, right? It's, and so he says, when you first get your students, those first couple of weeks, you're investing in them. You're depositing in them compliments, love, support, words of encouragement, affirmation, right? You're depositing deposits. And then 2 weeks into it, when one of them is maybe not following a class rule and you need to redirect them, right? You can make that withdrawal, that request, and say, hey, I need to make sure you put your phone in your pocket, please.
You still got to watch out how much of that withdrawal is, because it can't be overstimulating, because then it's like,
well,
you got to understand.
I mean, it all depends on...
And your own students. You know how much you can take from them.
Yes, or how to take from them. For example, a newer teacher might call a kid out from across the room. Hey, put your phone, right? Put your phone away. Now he's got an audience. He's got to respond to that audience. Whereas if you just kind of quietly walk past them, hey, go. Right? Or sometimes I'll do this. I'll do like, right? And nobody saw it. Nobody knows what we're talking about. They didn't get called out. And so they're more likely to, let me respect that.
And I think as we are going to be doing these podcasts too, I think as teachers listen and watch us, I hope you do, please, because we are definitely, you teach, what's your curriculum?
Right now it's, I had to think about it.
I know, right? Yeah.
I had to think of, is it because it's Sunday? I was like,
well, I just assume you're like, he's an English major.
Yeah, no, we do. We have an education academy, which is Future Educators of America. Anyone who might be getting into the field of education is in our academy.
Which some viewers or people would probably say like, oh my gosh, I wish I could take that class, right?
Yeah, well, it's a lot of pressure, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because if you're teaching what it is to be an educator, right? Now you're held to a different standard. So everything that you talk about...
As a student in high school?
Well, no, as an educator.
Oh, okay.
Because they're like, he talks about X, Y, and Z in the textbook.
But he doesn't do it. Yeah.
Well, no, let me see if he does it.
Oh, I see.
Well, this year I've got to do all of it.
Yeah.
So it's made me a better teacher. But yeah, there's that pressure to be like, okay. It's kind of like if I'm the fitness trainer at the gym, I better have some sort of fitness about me, right?
Yeah, sure.
Otherwise, they're like, I don't know if I want to take it.
It's like, oh, you're a physical nutritionist or some kind of, but you weigh 300 pounds, you know. It's
it's kind of like the credibility.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the knowledge isn't there.
No, not at all.
But, for kids, they're very, I'm going to say judgmental, just very straightforward about it, very practical. Like, okay, well, is he consistent? Does he have classroom management? Is he trying to build relationships?
Practice what you preach.
Yes. Yeah. And so I feel like I'm held to a different standard because that is the specific subject I'm teaching. Whereas maybe a math or English teacher, although they may practice all those things, they're not necessarily reminding and preaching their students about that. They're just doing it. So there's a whole chapter on classroom management.
And as we discuss this, so I used to do activities for 9 years, and that was a whole other ball game. And my background is television, so I teach digital video broadcasting. But I have 27 years of professional.
Do they know that?
Oh, I tell everything. There's my 2 weeks. That's part of my 2 weeks.
Oh, it's like, hey, this is my work.
Yeah, this is what I've done for a living. This is what I do. I take this job. You guys are my future employees.
Yeah,
and I'm an elective. So I look at it so you don't really have to be in here, and
you chose this.
Yes, you chose to be in here. Some of them say, I got thrown in here. It's like, but I always
say that.
Yeah. Well, but see, I'm very. What's the new word these days? It's very transparent. That's like the new word.
Yeah,
these days.
I like that one.
Yeah, and I'm very transparent to let them know, like, hey, I can't do this. And my principals actually told me, like, stop saying that. I'm like, because my dad would always tell me, if you don't like it, there's the door. I'll find a way to get you out of here. If it doesn't work out, there's the door. It's not college, they're not paying for the class. But I always tell them, listen, though, give me a chance. And I might come across as being really strict and mean in the beginning. And that's one thing you really got to do is hold your ground in the beginning. Don't be
start firm.
Start firm. You could loosen up because you can't be firm midway through. But I always tell them, these are the rules. You break the rules, there's the consequences. I work with thousands of dollars worth of equipment. You're doing video production, broadcasting and stuff. Yeah. And this is the stuff that you could literally learn. If you don't decide to go to college, you could really probably get a job somewhere.
Well, wait, you said that your admin says not to say what part?
The part where I could tell them to leave.
What do they want you to say?
That we'll work together and make it happen.
Yeah, I can see.
I get that, but it's more of I can't. The counselors put them in there and stuff, and I could request them saying, hey, this isn't going to work for you. But my point though is when a student comes in and they have no idea what your class is about, and they listen to what you're talking about, and I've had kids, freshmen, come up to me saying, this already is the best class I've ever had, and I'm like, it's 2 weeks in, we're 3 weeks in, and it's just because you're real. You're not fake. You come across as an actual person that believes in the curriculum you're teaching. I'm passionate. And that says a lot when if you're like, well, I don't know, we're going to do this and we're going to, maybe we're going to learn that. I don't know. We're just going to, there's no structure. There's no confidence in your teacher. And I love having that bragging right, knowing that I can recruit kids coming in there because they know they're going to get a talent that they learn in that class that's going to take them.
And that you've actually practiced in the real world and been compensated for.
So my rules are really strict in the beginning. And so when you...
But what about the relationship? How do you build it?
Because I'm honest, I'm upfront. I share a lot of stories about my background and what we've done. I don't know what you've done in the class, but I brag about having the podcast. And we're going to be doing podcasts in class. And they're like, "What, really? Yeah, tune into Rob Live or 200 Teachers. We're literally doing what I'm going to be showing you what to do.
Practicing.
Yeah. So you practice what you preach. And so when they see it, they're like, oh, shoot, whatever, he's really doing it, and stuff. And I brag about what we do on our podcast and what we do. And I show in the kids, it's hands-on, and and I hate to say this, it's so different than math, English, science, and the core classes, because those are the classes that you really got to put your mind and think about everything. And they're great. They're what we need. But I love the fact that I have a class that I teach that gets their mind to relax and do something really creative. I'm in the arts,
Yeah.
So it's a privilege. And I've always said this. I don't think I would be teaching this now if it wasn't this. If I was teaching something different. So for those of you that are listening, if you're really passionate about what you teach, make it the best you could do. Because find ways. I've had math teachers that really engaged me, made me feel fun. We're playing games, we're doing things. He had music playing. It just loosened up the tension of like, oh my gosh, we're in another math class. It's like, and I've had some horror math teachers too. So, but it just made me feel fun. It made your class fun. I have a guy I work with, Mr. Formisco, is a great guy. He's an English teacher, but he makes his class very soothing. He has lights in there. He has Star Wars stuff everywhere. He has bean bags. He makes it very attractive.
Ooh, bean bags.
Yeah, right. And he has like reading time. He makes it to where everyone wants to hang out in his class. And then the work just goes with it. It just goes.
I like that. So with the relationship aspect, what kind of team building do you use?
So, and that's tricky because sometimes in the team building, obviously you want them to be confident in working with you. Then you let them choose. We do group projects all the time. So
do they pick their partners?
Yeah, I let them in the beginning and I watch what they're doing. And if they start to struggle and because you always say like, hey, this is one of my things. If I hired you to paint a fence and the three of you that are in the group came and only painted one section, do I pay you? Is it completed? No. So then the project isn't completed. Well, I did my part, Mr. Chance. I did my part. I'm like, yeah, but I can't pay you for you only painting 2 sections. The job was to complete my fence, and they didn't do it. So they start realizing. So on the very end of every rubric that I put together, I always say choose your partners wisely. And I always say, it's worth.
Do you go into detail about what that means?
Yeah. And so I do.
What does that partner mean? Like, what's that checklist?
You always have somebody that you love to be around, but then you never know if those people are going to get you in trouble, put food on the table, jeopardize something that you're involved in.
Yeah.
But you still love them as a friend or whatever it is.
Yeah, Nasser.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah. So it is. It's one of those things where you're like, I love to do things with them, but I need to either do this by myself or I need to pick a group that I can depend on. And that's where you start building that bond. And it's really hard in high school, like I said, if you're younger, but you need to let them decide who they're going to get. Because I've failed so many kids based on this one kid is doing 90% of it, but the other kid in the group is doing the 10 or none. And they're like, can I not? And they come up to you, ask you, they're like, can I not have Susan?
But that's your best friend.
Yeah, it's your friend. Yeah, I don't know what to do. And my big thing is deadlines. You might have late assignments or whatever.
Yeah.
But mine in the news media, there's no deadlines. You can't watch tomorrow's news today, yesterday's news today.
Yeah.
It's old. So my thing is, if you don't meet deadline, the whole group fails. And we move on to the next assignment. I'm very strict in the beginning, but once it starts realizing, hey, you're only as good as your weakest link. So that weakest link needs to either be built and you start having them come up with their own way of helping and contributing to the group, or you let them go. And you and I have talked about this, but my class is very, very structured in a way of real life.
Yeah.
So
I think you said once, like it's like a job, and you can get fired. What does that mean if you get fired?
So there are some no F words, no bad words, right? Yeah. So any uppercuts, I call them uppercuts because it's something you would not play video in church. If it's something negative to where there's a bad language in it, there's and some kids are like, it says it's clean, but I go, yeah, but it said, I'm going to bend your mom over and hear her scream. That's not clean. That's not clean.
We're talking about your video production projects being turned in.
Yeah.
So when they turn in the video, there's certain things.
It follows my guidelines of no uppercuts, which is bad language.
You call them uppercuts?
Yeah, because it's like an insult to anyone who watches them.
Yeah.
It's like a boom in the face. Like, oh, shoot, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And it has to be respectful, no violence, and so on and so forth.
Or picking on people.
Yeah, no bullying and stuff like that.
Which happened.
Yeah.
You told me you had people like bullying staff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we don't like this staff member.
Yeah. Well, and I know we're way off on the bonding thing, what we were talking about, but I've had a story where a kid was literally doing a story, PSAs, public service announcements. We do this in my class. And what we were doing was the kids were doing a PSA, and one kid, he was kind of albino. Is that
I don't know
these days?
I don't know exactly.
He was he was white, blonde hair, blonde eyebrows, just very, very Caucasian, and he got picked on. And long story short, he did a PSA about being bullied in school and used the kids that actually bullied him on campus in his video, picking on him. And so,
wait, how did he capture that footage?
He wanted to be bullied. He said, "Hey, I'm doing a story," and so he gave one of the kids.
These guys participated.
Yeah, they did, and they beat him. They picked him up, and pushed him around and stuff. And he goes, "Oh well," it was the weirdest thing. But then there's a video of him on the ledge in Fresno looking at the traffic, and it faded to black, and it was basically a statistic about how many kids commit suicide due to bullying and blah blah blah.
Wow.
So it was very powerful. And then a couple weeks later, they moved. They left. And then a couple months after that, I had one of our admin or somebody was there saying, "Hey, do you have that video of that kid that blah, 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 blah?" I said, "Yeah, why?" And they go, "He committed suicide."
Oh, my God.
And they needed that footage to see, like, did you have any signs of any of this? And I go, "Oh, yeah, I did." So it was very powerful knowing that these kids were acting out their issues that they were already living. And then that footage right there was literally in black and white.
So he created a PSA to help prevent suicide.
That he ended up committing himself.
Oh, my God.
So, well, now it's die by suicide. You can't say committed by suicide, or
really?
Yeah.
I have to catch
up.
I
know. So anyways, and I know this was way off on the subject, but it was literally, so, I love this type of education though. I love not just what happened, but I love the fact that kids in art and video and all this stuff, they could express the way they are thinking and feeling and all that stuff. So same with writing, they write things. I've had teachers tell me that some of these kids have written stories that from traumatic experiences. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, no wonder, these kids are like that.
Well, I'm glad you brought up writing because the other elective that I teach, because the Education Academy, but we have creative writing. As you know, we've done some collaborations with your classes. And in that creative writing class, you're always taking a risk because let's say we said, "Hey, Jim, I want you to write a poem about an experience you went through growing up." Well, you can't help but reveal a little bit about yourself in that poem. And now you're sharing it out in the group, right? Because we do small group peer shares. That is a very vulnerable thing to do, right? To take a risk and say, "Hey, here's my poem." You don't know what the feedback's going to be. So there has to be like a circle of trust. So like you guys, we spend the first 2 weeks becoming a family. And that, that's very difficult. Yeah. But a lot of it has, what Kagan structures? You remember those?
Yeah, Kagan, yeah.
So everyone sits in groups. And the reason we do that is because I want people facing each other, eye contact, consistent sharing of the group, right? And it's less intimidating if it's like 3 or 4 of you versus 32. Mm-hmm. And so we do a lot of small group work. And one of the things that I've learned is that in order to get the creative going, the room has to feel safe. Like if you and I were doing this podcast right now and we had, 3 or 4 people in the peanut gallery, you guys suck. Why is Jim? What's he talking about? Right?
Yeah.
It makes us very self-conscious. And now all of a sudden we're kind of editing and being very self-conscious in our movement, in our vocabulary, and it doesn't flow, right? Because someone has killed the creative vibe in the room. And so one of the things that we do as a group is early on, we don't do any of our first writing project until the room feels like a family. And sometimes that's 2 weeks. Sometimes that's 3 days, right? Sometimes it's a month.
Feel it. You could feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it based on what I do is whenever I give them assignments. So let's say there's 4 in a group, right? They're all sitting in a group together. And it's seat 1, 2, 3, then 4. Everybody does everything simultaneously. There's no calling one guy out while 33 listen, right? So let's say Jim's seat 1, I'm seat 2, seat 3, seat 4. We do this thing called How's the Weather? The weather patterns listed on the screen represent different moods. Mm-hmm. So sunny means you're happy. Rainy means you're struggling. Thunder means you're sad. or angry, right?
Okay.
So they go share the weather. I said, all right, we're going to share the weather. Seat 2, 3, 4, then 1, go. So seat 2 is like, today the weather is cloudy. Today the weather. And as they're doing that, I'm walking around and I'm looking at the interaction and which groups are like just sitting stiff and no one's talking, and other groups where there's actual interaction. What you're looking for, right, to know that we've hit the family mode is when the conversation goes beyond just how's the weather, right? So if the group just does the assignment, weather, done. Now we go looking at you, right? That we're not there yet. But when I'm like,
they're waiting for direction.
Yeah. But if we've all shared the weather and now Jim's like, hey, you know, the other day I was at my cousin's, we were doing ATV. Now there's small talk happening, organic, normal stuff that I haven't directed or I'm not orchestrating. Now I know, we're getting closer because they're going beyond just what I'm forcing them.
And you set aside separate time in that little thing for them to talk?
It's the beginning of the class. So it would look like this. All right, guys, we're going to share out the weather right now. Here's the weather patterns. And then I give a model sentence. Today, the weather is blank, and say your name. Right. And then you got 2 minutes, go. And then they go around and I'm walking and looking. And I'm looking for not what that part, I'm looking for the extra talk. Are they going above and beyond that? Or is it just get the assignment done? Now go, wait, look at me.
Well, because the assignment being done would be, what did he say? I'm going to say the same thing. The weather is sunny. Yes, it's sunny today too.
And we talk about that too. We call that the tight smile. So the tight smile is that fake customer service smile that you give people. That has nothing to do with what's feeling inside. And kids, that's their defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, oh no, everything's sunny. While, they're tumbling inside. It takes a moment to get to that point, right? To be true and say, hey, transparency, Jim. It's not sunny today. And I always tell them, hey, it's okay to be more than just sunny, right? You can be other things. And that doesn't mean it's a permanent state. And we're not going to be judged by that. It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
The key is not to stay that way.
No, it was perfect timing.
Hey, Victoria, come on in.
Come in.
Yeah, come on in. Have a seat.
I'm glad we paused right there at that moment. I could edit that out. Yeah.
Have a seat. Yeah. We're just finishing up a segment real quick.
So when you're at that point, do they realize that they now have succeeded in the bond,
No,
what we were talking about?
It's very subtle. Yeah. It's very subtle because it's kind of like with your parents, right? It's like when you're a teen and you're trying to get through a certain stage and then your parents point it out, it almost becomes embarrassing where you want to push back. Oh my God, look at Jim. He's finally hugging his little brother.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'm not going to hug him because you just made it a big spectacle.
Yeah.
So it's very subtle. So I don't go around saying, oh my God, you guys are doing more than just sharing the weather. Never.
And I noticed it.
Yeah,
So now
you just watch it. And when you know it's going down,
you're
like, oh, we're ready. Okay, first assignment starts tomorrow. That's when you know.
What's the longest you've ever taken to get that?
You're getting good at this podcasting. That's a good question.
Because you were saying 2 weeks. It might be 3 days.
Yeah.
Maybe a month for a rookie teacher.
For us, I felt like we weren't there until week 3.
That was the longest.
Week was the longest, week 3. And then I know we're ready. We do that first assignment.
Well, I give you credit because you must have had some kind of I would be stressed out on what type of activities that we could prove to themselves that they're bonding.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
that's trial and error too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And parents complain.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've had parents complain. This is a creative writing class and my son hasn't done any writing assignments yet. Right. And so then I have to break it down and say, hey, listen, this is a creative process. And in order for us to be at the point where we're going to get good work, everyone needs to feel safe in that room.
Is it because they haven't seen any assignments posted?
No, they just haven't seen written assignments. I mean, creative writing assignments. There's assignments. For example, we have one called Identify Your Why. That's an assignment. And your job is to identify your purpose for why you're doing something. Like, why are we doing the podcast? And so there's what you do, there's how you do it, and then there's why you do it. If you don't know why you're doing something, as soon as adversity hits, you're out, because there's nothing. That's the anchor.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think what this channel is really going to help out a lot of people is like you said, I love what we do with Rob Live and everything, and I think this is kind of another niche that we have for anybody that's listening, because everyone's going to have their own way of doing things. You know, you're a different teacher than I am. You said something about being sneaky and not calling someone out who pulls out the phone. I'm vocal. I'm very like
right there.
Hey, and I've got it to where I give we have a thing called Minga points.
Yeah, we have Minga. We don't have points, but we have Minga.
Well, now we started giving points because then they could use those points towards 15 points excludes a tardy.
Yeah.
15 points or so many gives you percentages off swag.
Yeah.
Or dances or whatever. So they could use those points that they earn by being a positive role model at school and so forth to buy whatever they want. And I personally give 5 points a day for each student throughout the week. But I've noticed it to where they don't really care. They don't care about the snack or at the Minga store. Maybe last year, well, it's a long story, but last year we were actually giving 5 points for a tardy, to clear a tardy. And now it's like, well, that was easy. You could get 5 points and then some in one day.
Yeah.
So you could be late every single day to school. So they stopped doing that. So it's 15 points. But what I was getting at was, I'm like, hey, if Joey is on his phone or drinking water around my computers or eating snacks in my class, those are my 3 main rules because I have computers. Robert could rat him out and I'll give Joey's points to Robert. So now you've earned 10 points in my class.
Wait, so your system is to turn them again?
Rat them out. And it's funny because
that's controversial.
What you're doing is exactly what the class does. Like, oh, that's either brilliant or you're making me want to rat out my peers. I have no problems, and they bank. They bank it.
It's
so
different approach. Yeah.
So yeah,
because I'm trying to build a family.
Exactly, and I'm like having them cutthroat. You know,
be mad for yourself.
But they're following the rules.
You guys get both sides.
Yeah, you can.
You get both sides.
But it depends on how well you lay out the structure, because I've had other teachers say, "Now you do what?" Because I'm hearing you do what, and I go, and seniors love it because they're like, they want to bank as much as they can, and I'm like, hey, if someone is breaking my rules behind my back, and I got 30, 20 other people that are going to rat them out for an extra 5 points, then my class is perfect. They don't. There's now been in the last 2 weeks that we've been back. You know, whatever. No, I mean we've been back a while, but now for the last 2 weeks, everyone follows the rules because they know they have to really watch not only the teacher, they have to watch their next door neighbor that they're sitting next to.
Big brother is watching.
Yeah, and they might be best friends, but even the best friends will rat them out. Say, hey, so and so's eating chips, Mr. Chance, so and I go, I'll look over and I go, dude,
I don't know how I feel about this.
I go, Joey, you just got his points in front of everybody, and they're like, and he'll get up and he goes, seriously, and I go, it's the rules. There's no bending the rules in my class. It's like those are the 3 main rules that I have. It's the cardinal rule in my class. I have.
What are the big 3?
So, which is funny because we have cell phone, no policy cell phones, right?
Yeah.
That's number 2. My number 1 rule is I have 30 computers in my class, and these water bottles have to be stationed over by the door. And I have a table over there. You could get up anytime you want to drink in the middle of my lectures or anything. Get up, walk over there, drink your water, go back. I don't care. But your water bottle has to be not by my keyboards. I had 2 computers that had spilt waters last year and 1 the year before. And I'm just like, that's money the district is not going to give me back. So I'm like, I have to put something down. You could bring and if they pull it out of their bag and they drink it, they lost their points. It has to go over to my table. That's my rule. So in life, I know it was a stop sign, but I did a rolling stop. No, your ass was supposed to stop. That's a stop sign. There's no curve. So if you follow the rules now in my class, you have to wake up every day and be at school at 8:30 or 8 o'clock. There's no rules. What's going to happen if you show up late?
The class doesn't.
It doesn't stop. And you get a tardy. And so many tardies, there's penalties behind that. So these are all little baby steps that are structuring these kids to start realizing I have to follow rules. They're meant rules. You can't eat Cheetos. What do you think you're going to get during break in between classes and at lunch? A time to do that. In my class, it's this. And it's just, and those are 3 stupid rules, but it's like, and I could easily make them harder, but those are my 3 ones: food, water, and cell phones now. Last year was not cell phones. So it's just, those are just the basic little ones. Because as soon as you start leaning into letting them break that rule, everybody's breaking the rule. And now you have broken computers, messed up and everything. Because now you lost control. So as soon as I start putting my foot down, and there are only 3, I'm like, I have 10 in my head that I could easily do, but that's too many. So I make 3.
Yeah, I was always told to keep it 5 or under when it comes to rules.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on because we
got 30 plus years of experience that we can do this together, right?
We're gonna do. Hey, I promise we'll get better at staying on task.
I know we're all over the place. Yeah,
this is all over the place. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, this is Rob and Jim. Jim, how are we signing off? 2 Hungry Teachers.
Well, we're not doing your the peas and chicken grease.
That's something else. That's all.
Well, and if you haven't followed us, tune in, because I know we haven't done very many of them, but I know there's a lot of Able Scoobers, videos on there and all the other things that we've done, which is great. Yeah. But I think our angle this time is more the knowledge. There are 2 hungry teachers. What are we hungry for? Knowledge. And we want to be able to educate future teachers on realizing we're the real deal. TED Talk and all that is 100% awesome. But for me, when I saw the classroom and I was in there, TED Talk went out the window for me. This is not this is not as perfect as TED Talk makes it seem, and nothing downplaying TED Talk at all. It was just more of like, okay, I need to find me. What's gonna work for me? You need to find out what's gonna work for you. And I mean, my daughter's watching us. She wants to be an educator. She goes, Dad, why aren't you doing these more? I want to hear what you guys have to say. And she respects both of us. So she's like, and she's wanting to be a teacher, a high school teacher. So she's like, let me know when you do the next one. I go, okay. So,
okay.
Yeah. So there are,
somebody's watching.
Yeah, my daughter.
All right. Thanks, McGinley.
Yeah.
All right. Till next time. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will continue with another topic for classroom management. Until next time, stay in school, kids.
Yep.